So I had a heck of a weekend, and it was very different than my typical weekends of forcing myself to relax and recharge, doing a little bit of light coding, but otherwise trying to force myself to anxiously relax. And as a result of that, thanks to my girlfriend, I was actually able to relax a bit. I got really lucky. She did a lot of cooking, and now my freezer is full of stuff that she baked because I pulled a 14-pound beef chunk out of my freezer. We defrosted it, and she made a whole bunch of stuff with it that I just am now going to be able to pull out of my freezer and microwave to eat whenever I want. Uh, which is amazing. And honestly, if you don't value that kind of work from your partner, then you're an idiot. Honestly, the work she did this weekend is going to make the next few weeks better. And dear, if you're watching this, thank you. And so I have had a actual good weekend in that I can actually tell around geez, even late Saturday night that I was actively more relaxed and refreshed than normal. And it was kind of a weird epiphany, to be honest, in that I had to acknowledge that my ability to be mindful about my current status and the level of anxiety and everything else that I normally feel is much higher. And so, with that in mind, I started thinking about why that was. Because, as we all know, part of being an engineer is looking at the data, even if it makes you uncomfortable. And I realized that I haven't really been true to myself. I haven't been doing what I really want to do with my channel. I haven't been really doing what I do with my life. I haven't been coding enough, basically. Like, I'd write code every day, but it hasn't been enough. And the best way I can say this is that I'm probably going to be making less Skyrim videos. And I know that's going to offend some of you because a lot of you really love the Skyrim videos. But I'll still make them from time to time. And I think that save is going to be an excellent thing for the Let's Play. I think I'm going to continue that. But I'm not going to be making 8 hours of videos for that anymore. One of the things that I really want to do is really kind of, how can I say this? I want to actively go out of my way to do more technical content. And the big issue there is how can I say this? The the thinking that I have is that if I look at the historical data on my if I look at the historical data on my channel, every time I release technical videos or in-depth tutorials to give you a new skill, two things generally happen. It doesn't get any views. The few people who do downvote it into oblivion, and because of that, other people have problems finding my other videos because the negative views hurt my channel, and as a result of that, I am forced to delete the video to get my channel back into a state where people can see it again due to my low number of followers. Now, historically, that was always an issue because I had like 100 or whatever followers. Nowadays, that's less of an issue. I have around 1,800 or so last I checked, and I'm just amazed that all of you actually subscribe, and I'm extremely thankful for that. But at the same time, I really want to make tech videos, and I'm hoping that the wider audience will mean that I'm going to actually get the support to do that now. Now, I don't really know if the let's see. I don't really know what's going to happen with that. I think the big issue here is the fact is I actively want to do technology videos that are useful, but also present different viewpoints. I still want to do the philosophy stuff, and I still want to talk about different issues in depth. But I also realize that some of those topics are pretty heavy. And as a result of that, maybe you can't focus on them because you don't have something to distract you, and I'm thinking about this. And I got into a small discussion about neuroscience with my girlfriend. And I realized that one of the big issues that so many people are ADHD is because they are not getting the data in the right format. I realize that the reason that people like Asmongold and so forth have the format they do is because it's actually conducive to not only promoting the ideas and actual discussion around it and keeping the relaxed atmosphere so that people feel safe to do that, but also just kind of a chill vibe that allows people to feel safe. And so I would like to do that. I would like to have, a chill vibe where people are in the chat chatting and I'm, playing a game or writing code or something. And, we can talk about things as I do that. That would be epic. I love that idea. I don't want to quite steal the format of other YouTubers or Twitch streamers because I feel like they have their own brand and their own ideas of doing things. But I do believe that as an engineer, I should be open to taking stock and looking at what works and, throwing out what isn't and, trying to better myself through continual improvement and looking objectively about how I spend my time and my life. As part of that, I think growth is normal and natural. And I think if you're against somebody's growth, then you're ultimately against them. But you're also against yourself. Because if you're against growth, then you're going to naturally stop yourself from growing as well. And so, as part of that, I have to acknowledge that I've made mistakes in the past. I'm not perfect, I'm a human being. And I'll be the first to admit that. But I think one of those mistakes was focusing too much on Skyrim content, even if it was a short period, simply because I wanted to kind of hide from the fact that I was feeling extremely depressed and I didn't know how burned out I was. And thanks to a good weekend with my girlfriend, I realized that I was extremely burned out, and I still might be, but I'm on the road to recovery because of the love and affection that I was shown and because of the grace that someone in my life has shown me. And so as a result of that, I now have the ability to say, look, this weekend was good. I'm looking forward to the next weekend with my girlfriend. But in the meantime, let's get some work done. And so, with that in mind, I am going to be doing some tech videos, maybe this week, maybe next week. I don't know yet. I'm still kind of doing the planning and everything. I also want to have it still be free formed in that I want to be open to new ideas and things as they happen. But I would like to have a more in depth conversation with my community. And that's really, really hard to do when my community kind of is passive and they like to consume my content. But I'm only getting maybe the top 1% really interacts with me. And so the end result is that that 1% of voices is going to have, how can I say this? It feels almost like they have a little bit more control than the other 99% because they're the ones actually interacting with me and engaging with me. I would highly recommend that, you respond to videos like this in the comments and give your ideas and thoughts. I would highly recommend that you go out of your way to, follow me on Twitter or whatever and to interact with me. I know it's scary because, it's the internet and I'm a human. But at the same time, despite the fact that humans can be scary, I try to make the interaction worthwhile. And I want to understand what people are looking at. I need to understand your context as well. Because if I'm going to be making content that helps you or helps you consider new facts or teaches you a new skill, I think it's best if I understand that and do that from the context that actually helps you. But I can't do that unless I actually know my audience better. I have some quizzes and things on my page, on my community page on LinkedIn. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I I get some interaction from that, and some of the data has been useful. But I'm also going to be expanding that as well because I'm really curious what you guys have to say. And when I say guys, please understand like the two or three of you who are female, I see you, and I want to help you get into tech too. I want to help you out. I think you have just as much value as the guys. And if the guys are threatened by that, then well, they're really weak. So there's that. But the fact is, you should understand that I want my community to be as diverse as possible because I want to have the data points that are diverse. And I want to understand at a level that allows me to say, oh, here's the data, here's the data, here's the data, here's the data. Oh, look, some of this data conflicts. That's interesting. Because when you really get down to it, a lot of the philosophy stuff that I do or want to think about is about conflicting ideologies. It's about the idea that these two things have formed an empirical basis for their desire to perceive themselves as fact based on different contexts. And yet, those contexts are conflicting. I think as an engineer, we should have the ability to hold differing viewpoints in our mind without getting consumed by them. And we need the ability to have the mindfulness to place ourselves mentally in the space or scope of an idea without ourselves being consumed by it. And so I want to do that. I want to do more of that. I would like to actually, write more code, have more discussions, do more stuff. And, yes, I've got a new project on my screen this time because I started something completely different this weekend as a quick little test. And you know what? The experiment was a success. I limited my scope. I am going to have a small a billing system that I'm creating, and then I'll, copy and paste it into other projects as needed. But it's a much smaller scope, and it's going to be used without all my other ideas thrown in, because I wanted to something that was more intellectually pure. I guess is the wrong. Well, maybe that's the wrong way of saying it. Uh, I wanted a smaller scope for some of the ideas that I had for building integration, and I wanted to make it more modular and solid. And so the goal with this small project is to make it more DRY and make the code drier, to make it based only on, in this case, a Stripe integration. And so before I had a general purpose payment system I was building, I've decided to back that out. And I've decided to simply do a Stripe integration and iterate based on that. It's a very different mindset, but I think it'll work, and I'm making good progress. And I have to also say too that thanks to the love and affection of my girlfriend, I was writing some very nice code the other day, and it was actually surprising me how easy and relaxed I was as I was, consuming the beef stroganoff she cooked for me and chilling up in front of my laptop while she listened to music and danced in my kitchen and enjoyed herself that way because that's that and the reading that she loved to do. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm exceedingly blessed to have the people that I have in my life, and I really am thankful for their support. But I recognize that there are 1,800 people subscribed to my YouTube channel, and I don't know what your intentions are when you subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping that you subscribe because it provides value to you, or at least it's amusing or interesting or whatever. But if you could just let me know in the comments what you want to see, what you like, or even if you just call out what you like on my channel, when you see it, that's great. I love that feedback. Just understand that this is not just me here. Okay? This is all of us. And part of the reason why I want to get back into the software and doing the programming live is because I recognize that some of you can learn and I want to teach. The big issue here is I'm not being given that opportunity right now. And so I have to make those opportunities for myself. Anyway, this thing is too long, so I'm going to stop it.